Okay, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our webinar today. My name is David Kallenbach, Head of Technical Solutions and Support at Framos, and I'm thrilled to be your host for this session. At Framos, we are dedicated to making latest imaging technology easily understandable and accessible. With that, we are supporting our clients to excel in building innovative imaging solutions of tomorrow. For today, I'm excited to have our long-standing partner Sony joining us to share insights on Sony's remarkable lineup of large format sensors. I'd like to welcome you joining us for a walk through the beautiful landscape of Sony's rolling shutter as well as global shutter options. Furthermore, we're going to learn about success factors for own camera designs around large format sensors. Let me kindly introduce you to our speakers for today. Monip, Product Marketing Specialist at Sony Semicon EU. Ferdinand, Market Strategy and Business Development Manager at Framos. And Flavien, Technical Imaging Expert at Restar Framos. I'm looking forward to all of them providing their expert perspective in today's discussion. Here's a quick look at our agenda for the webinar. Right after my short introduction session, I'll hand the mic over to Flavien, who is going to introduce Restar Framos to you and explain how the company is connected to the Sony Framos collaboration. Flavien will then hand the mic over to Monip, who will speak for about 15 minutes about Sony's global shutter and rolling shutter large format sensor lineup. Flavien and Ferdinand are going to follow up explaining how Restar Framos and Framos together support successful design-in of the mentioned sensors for optimized image quality. After about 25 minutes in, we'll wrap things up with a 5-minute Q&A session where we'll address your questions and provide additional insights. Before we dive in, I'd like to highlight the question feature in this webinar platform. Please use this icon to raise questions during the webinar. Questions will be tackled during the Q&A sessions. For any unanswered ones, we'll come back to you soon after the webinar. Now, without further ado, let me hand it over to Flavien from Restar Framos to kick things off.
Thank you, David. So I am Flavien from Restar Framos. Basically, I'm French, located in Grenoble, and I am technical imaging expert working in Restar Framos. So let me present you quickly the objective of these new companies. So we have been founded very recently. Basically, we are located in Munich, and we are a joint venture of Vimos Technology GmbH, which has been founded in 2016 in Europe, and which is dedicated to distribute some passive and non-imaging components as well as non-imaging active components. And so since last October, we are now taking in hand the distribution of Framos side through Sony distribution of the image sensor. And so we are working in collaboration as well with Framos in order to propose some modules through the nice ecosystem of Framos within their specific small form factor of module. You can contact us in this slide. We are located basically in Taufkirchen, close to Munich, and so you have all the details in case you are interested in some specific image sensors, in particular for large format image sensor. Now I hand over to Monib for this specific technical presentation around the large format image sensors for both global shutter and rolling shutter. Thank you, David.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Monip. I'm currently located in our Sony headquarters, Europe, in Weybridge, United Kingdom. First of all, let me thank Framos and Restar Framos team for the great webinar. It's a pleasure to see you guys, and also I can see a lot of familiar names in the audience. So hi to all of you. Yes, today I will describe some of our latest large format sensors. And hopefully this way you can get an understanding what is Sony's offering in the market. And then I will hand over to my colleagues in Framos to continue the webinar. Yes, next slide, please. Yeah, so when it comes to our product lineup, I just wanted to give you a brief overview of what Sony has at the moment. So in case you have inquiries for any other product, you can also reach out to Flavien and Restar Framos team. In terms of our lineup, the main lineup would be our global shutter and rolling shutter, which today we will cover the rolling shutter product at this a few slides. Then I will also give you a global shutter example of our large format sensors too. However, we do have some newer area of products such as Swire, UV, polarization, time of flight, and event-based vision. This is Sony's venturing into new markets and new application to explore and show their expertise in these markets as well. Next slide, please. Yeah, just a quick overview of what application Sony industrial rolling shutter product will be targeting. These are just few of the applications that these products can cover, but I think it's a brief overview so you have an understanding where these products are currently used. It could be in flow inspection for displays, large displays, or even small phone displays. It could be in a digital microscopist. It could be in aerial imaging devices and aerial mapping devices and airborne system, and some sorting for logistic lines, the ones especially slow-moving lines, let's say. But my favorite out of all of them would be the aerial imaging. And in terms of the current product lineup, I think in the market as of now, they say anything above 1 inch optical size could be considered a large format. But in Sony, we do have this from APS-C. So as you can see, Sony has basically around 5 products in our rolling shutter industrial lineup. And I will give you an overview of these product spec and which one I think is the next one to look out for. Next slide, please. I think these 4 products is a good example of Sony's approach to the large format market using backside illuminated CMOS image sensors. And these sensors come in various resolutions. So for example, we have the IMX455, 61 megapixel. Then we are moving on to IMX461, 102 megapixel, IMX411, which is very known in the market, 151 megapixel. And the latest product from Sony is the IMX811, the one in the red rectangle. This is our highest resolution rolling shutter industrial image sensor, which is 245 megapixel. And what is important here is all of our sensors, apart from 455, are
I believe we lost Monique for a moment, so please excuse the delay and let's wait for Monique to come back.
Yeah, can you hear me, David?
Yeah, you're back now, Monique.
Sorry. Yes, we had a
lost
brief
you at all of these sensors share some unique features, so maybe you can jump back in on that.
Yeah, in terms of the some unique features, basically, as I said, the color sensors are getting popularity in this market, and I'm believing this is mainly coming from the aerial mapping market. And even for display inspection, they still need color sensors. So Sony continues offering these sensors even in the latest sensor 811 in both color and monochrome. What is different in IMX811 is, first of all, what is same, the package size remained the same. So Sony increased the resolution, the package size remained the same. The pixel size is smaller to achieve a higher resolution. And also the SLVS EC is now 16 lane, 4x4 lane. And what we can highlight here is mainly the speed of the sensor. Let's say it's now achieving 12.4 FPS in 12-bit. And in terms of the sensor size, as you can see, IMX811 is slightly smaller, but the package size would remain the same. Next slide, please. And just a key technical feature of our IMX411 versus 811, both 8K sensors, but what you can see here is for each display pixel, for using IMX411, you can mainly assign 2 sensor pixels to each pixel, whereas when you're using IMX811, you can use more than 2 sensor pixels assigned to each pixel of the display device. Next. In terms of what challenges brings to the sensor manufacturer when they increase the resolution, basically the power consumption will go up. The frame rate ideally would reduce when the resolution goes up, and the stability of the production also decreases. This is mainly, these sensors are quite large, and we do use a stitching technology to stitch parts of the sensors together. So the stability of production would be in a high risk. However, Sony has overcome these challenges using two technologies. First one is the advanced new ADC circuit. This is to achieve high speed and low power consumption at the same time. And the second one is a chip-on-wafer process technology for a backside illuminated sensor only. This is to achieve high imaging characteristic and a stable supply without having to put customer into trouble. Next, please. And in terms of the schedule for our IMX811, you probably heard of this product a lot in the last couple of months. We are now moving into our mass production phase, which is a smooth. As I said, the stability of this production has proven to be stable. So we are now moving into the mass production for our color sensor, and later, let's say at the end of the year and beginning of the next year, we will move to the monochrome sensor as well. Yeah, next. Now, let me give you a quick update on the global shutter sensor. So Sony also has some large format sensor in the global shutter lineup. As you can see above, ASPC would be IMX661, which is a 128 megapixel image sensors. So next one, please. So yeah, in terms of the key spec, as I said, the 127 megapixel image sensors. What is important here is, again, we offer them in color and monochrome. Sensor pixel size is 3.45 micrometer, and also the SLVS is 16:8 or 4-lane possibility. And the frame per second here, let's say in a 12-bit, is nearly 20 frames per second. Package size is similar to our IMX411 and 811 too. Next, please. A couple of applications for this product. Just it's still vague to us what exactly would be the difference between how the customer can use 661 instead of using our rolling shutter, but we are seeing a rise in interest from these markets. Again, display inspection is suitable, especially for a unique application, let's say a fast-moving sorting line or display inspection line. FPD flow inspection, as I said. Glass surface flow inspection is a new application we are seeing interest for IMX661. And the latest one is infrastructure inspection using drones. Just a key update for you, Sony is expanding their global shutter lineup, especially in the large format. So IMX927 series is targeting this. As you can see, our global shutter large format wasn't as developed as our rolling shutter. So since then, Sony decided to design in IMX927 series to give the customer the availability of other products in this lineup too. So this topic could be a good topic for our next seminar. Yeah, that's all from me.
Good. Thanks a lot, Monip, for all these insights to the Sony lineups. Then handing it back over to Flavien. You're still on mute to continue with the support section.
Thank you, David. So very quickly, can you please move to the next slide, please, David? So like I said before, so Restar Framos is in charge of the distribution of, is an official distributor of a Sony image sensor. That means that we provide more than only distributing the sensor. So it articulates, maybe our service articulates mainly into 3 different points. So first of all, when it comes to you to selecting a specific sensor, we can provide the sensor documentation, so the data sheets and the specific app notes on which you can have access to the different functions inside the sensor, so specific features, which can be very different between a global shutter sensor and a rolling shutter sensor. In addition, we can distribute as well Sony evaluation kits, which are some specific boards and optics, and as well a specific software in order for the customer to evaluate the technology capabilities in addition to the documented data, but as well to start to verify the sensor functionalities, which can be quite useful when the customer decides to start in parallel the integration of the sensor into its own platform. So these evaluation kits are in some point different from what Framos is proposing in terms of module, since the compactness of the module is really closer to let's say a final product, and allows as well better performances in terms of image stream. Okay. And finally, we understand customers' applications. So that means that we have a privileged interaction with the Sony team, in particular with Monib, and as well with the technical support team of Sony, with whom we are really working very close all together. And so we can ensure a proper interaction between the customer and Sony team in order to really find the correct functionality of the sensor, which is suited to the final customer application.
Okay, thanks a lot, Flavien. With that, let me hand it over to Ferdinand.
Yeah, thank you, Flavien and Monib, so far. My name is Ferdinand Reitze. I'm a market strategy and business development manager at Framos, located in a Munich HQ. And now that you know Sony's large format sensor technology lineup and where to get them and the support, let's take another look at where they deliver value. Monib has mentioned them before already, and especially key things to consider during the design phase and how you can shorten your time to market and de-risking your project. So large format sensors shine in applications where throughput and high quality are cost drivers, such as in advanced optical inspections like wafer, solar panel, or circuit board inspection. Another area is scientific imaging, where sensors are used for DNA sequencing or microscopy. And last but not least, remote observation or related fields gaining traction. Sensors are used for satellite imaging or astronomy. So a general statement can be that they are relevant whenever the advantage of covering a larger area in a single image outweighs the risk and the cost of the design in. And speaking of cost, let's look at some of the important aspects during the design phase. We supported as Framos many customers through integration and scale up, and we developed own modules, giving us a deep experience in the three key areas when working with large format sensors, which is electrical engineering, manufacturability, and firmware development. And across all these areas, sensor size is a main driver of complexity. So mechanical precision, for example, tilt or rotational errors scale with sensor size, meaning a small error results in a bigger absolute shift of a corner pixel. The size and heat capacity also increases mechanical and thermal stress, requiring careful material choices and controlled assembly to avoid deformation. And the power delivery, as Monib also mentioned, the consumption goes up and it's complex, and it includes managing multiple different voltages that influence noise and image quality. In case you've never designed such large formats, test and validation setups need to be expanded to cover the full-sized image. And last but not least, the high bandwidth interface adds to the complexity. So as a result, the design in is risky and costly, and each redesign is orders of magnitude more expensive than with smaller sensors. And only with 1 or 2 modules per panel, you also collect very little statistical data to improve yield. To make life easier for our customers that require the highest resolutions with a rolling shutter sensor, the Sony IMX811 in this case, we've leveraged our prior experience to come up with a sensor module that is ready for production with a high yield process. It offers a form factor that is only slightly bigger than the sensor itself, and it comes with a direct to sensor adhesive bonding that allows best thermal coupling and minimal stress on the sensor itself and for active sensor alignment. It's supported by our own SLV SEC RX IP core. It comes with 4x2 lanes at 9.2 gigabits per second, and it's available as binary or source. And last but not least, it offers a single voltage input optimized for image performance, and this drastically simplifies the design in compared to the 8 individual voltages that the IMX811 itself requires. In short, the FSM IMX811 is designed for easy integration and production, and it minimizes cost, risk, and timeline of your projects. And to lower the entry barrier even further, we offer a supporting development kit that comes with everything you need to connect the module to an AMD Xilinx developer board and start streaming an image. The reference design does not include the board itself or the lens though, but the lens can be offered as an accessory. To sum it all up, at Framos, we can offer the full circle. Next slide, please. So from highly integrated sensor modules that are tuned for performance and image quality, maximize image quality and minimize size and power. And all modules come with characterization and optimization of raw image quality. We offer sensor-specific IP cores managing the configuration, control, and timing. As mentioned before, we also offer a SLV SEC RX IP core as a source and binary to help you kickstart the development. And we are a single point of contact, if you will, backed by strong partnerships, as you can see with this webinar, and qualified suppliers, and we ensure reliable availability even in challenging times. Last but not least, especially important for large format sensors, we offer our manufacturing experience that we gained through many years, minimizing risk, maximizing yield for our customers. That's all from my side. Back to David for the Q&A.
Thanks a lot, Ferdinand. And as you mentioned, let's kick off the Q&A session for this webinar. So first question I would go in the direction of Sony, and this is about the market situation and the results for IMX811 versus the IMX411. Can you maybe speak a bit about that market situation now that the 811 has been announced?
I think one of the surprising factors for us was that our assumption was once we have a higher resolution sensors, we have a lot of demand shift from 411 to 811. But surprisingly, the demand has stayed fairly similar, and we are gaining new market interest from newer applications for IMX811. I think mainly when it comes to display inspection application, IMX411 is in such a sweet spot in terms of price, performance, and availability, lens manufacturers availability, which keeps them very steady in the market. So, however, when it comes to IMX811, we now started getting more interest from aerial mapping customers interested in this product simply due to the high resolution, higher speed, and lower power consumption.
Okay, thanks a lot, Monip, for these answers and insights. So another question related to the 811 is about the color filter array on the 811. Someone is wondering whether it's a Bayer or a quad Bayer pattern for the color version of the sensor. And then also to expand the question, maybe are there any plans for a quad Bayer on a large format at the moment? Can you speak to that?
I think I can answer this one. The sensor itself is not a quad Bayer. I think one of our latest sensor, which is a quad Bayer, is our IMX068, which is a 1-inch sensor. We don't have information confirmed yet if we have any plan for a large format, but the direction we're taking, as you can see, the 1-inch sensor comes in a quad Bayer. It is not far from reality, but yeah, 811 is not a quad Bayer.
So clearly the quad Bayer is still driven by the mobile, and there typically the larger
Yes.
sensors are in the domain of 1-inch so far. So this is why also quad Bayer only goes up to 1-inch so far. Okay, great, thanks. Next one is a more of a general one when it comes to these large format sensors. So sometimes it may be difficult to find matching lenses for these sensors. So maybe there's a question towards Ferdinand. Does Framos offer any matching lenses or support in deciding for matching lens for these sensors?
For large format sensors, our experience is that our customers use custom or semi-custom lenses that will be defined throughout the project. For testing and evaluation in early stages, as I mentioned, we have a lens that we also present in the documentation of the development kit and also the IMX811, which is a Schneider-Kreuznach lens. We can offer that as an accessory for the early stage in the project, and throughout the course of a development project, our optics team can help define and select a most suitable lens for the project specifically.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ferdinand, for these insights. Next question is going in the direction of longevity and availability of these sensors. Now that the 811 is released, there's a question whether or not Sony has any plans to discontinue lower resolution products in the future.
I think to answer this question, just to prove a point here, is Sony has a family approach to the sensor product, especially in the rolling shutter. So as you can see, we had 4 or 5 products in this area, and we wish the customer have the option to choose and select based on their need, price sensitivity of the end market, and the resolution that they require. So no, we don't have a plan as such that to discontinue the lower resolution. In fact, we try to keep the family approach.
Okay, thanks a lot, Monip, for the insights. Next question goes more in the direction of Framos. So Ferdinand, if you could take it on. You've shown the 811 sensor module, and there's a question whether or not we would have other sensor modules and the large format available as well, based on other Sony large format sensors. Can you speak to that?
Sure. So for now, the 811 FSM IMX 811 is the only production-ready module that we have. We consider others for the future. We've done custom solutions and supported customers to design in other Sony large format sensors. So we for sure can do that and offer that on a custom solution basis. So if you have an interest or request regarding that, please reach out and we can consult you individually.
Okay, sounds good. And to add to that, from my own experience, these would really contain the 571, 455, 411. So quite many of these larger format Sony sensors indeed. Thanks a lot. Then there's another question about the potential restrictions to use such large format sensors. So this is about the classification in the industrial or maybe audio-video lineups, and whether there are any restrictions to use these sensors in any specific application. Can you speak to that, Monip?
I think to answer this question, Sony's restriction is very clear, and I guess it's known in the market that the applications that we are targeting is not anything to do with military or defense applications per se, and that's why our colleagues in Framos and Restar Framos, they often check the end market application. They often check for the letter agreements, making sure the application is confirmed by the end customer. So in terms of restriction, yes, there is a restriction, but this is for a pure peaceful and civilian reasons.
Okay, thank you very much, and fair enough. So one last question, maybe considering the time, and this is kind of the future question. So maybe Monip, if you could speak to the plans from Sony side to expand any of these lineups in the future, and if yes, in which direction?
I think
larger resolutions or larger frame rates, smaller pixel sizes. If you could speak to
as you can see, I mean, Sony is one of the, let's say, the active sensor manufacturer as of the way I can see it. As you can see, for the rolling shutter, we had our IMX 811 from last year, now going to mass production this year. We did also introduce IMX 06A lately. It's still yet to go into mass production. But this product was always in the market from the mobile sensors, and now we industrialized it to be suitable for customer industrial applications. And then we have the IMX 927 series global shutter. So I think it's fair to say, for the moment, we don't have any new product in the, let's say, the next 6 months or 1 year in this market, but we do have 3 products ready to be launched into mass production within the 12 months to come.
Fair enough. Okay, thanks a lot. With that, I would like to conclude the Q&A session. Let me kindly thank you for your attention on the audience side, and also for the great presentations, of course, from Ferdinand, Monip, and Flavien's side. Thanks a lot. Please keep in mind our upcoming webinar next week on December 11th. You're going to learn about what is good image quality, a general question we are often discussing with our customers. If you would like to contact Framos, please scan the QR code on the slide and fill out the contact form at the webpage, or reach out to one of your known contacts at Framos. With that, let me conclude the session for today, just in time. Thanks a lot again, everyone, for the great presentations and also the attention from the audience, as also your great questions. Have a good day, everyone, and goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.